to Follow the Money podcast brought to you by Nairametrics. My name is Ugodre, and this is a daily podcast version of the Follow the Money that you're familiar with, the one that we do every Monday, 8 to 8:30 on radio. It's actually live on radio, 8 to 8:30 on Classic FM, 97.3. And it also gets to air on all podcast platforms. So if you missed the previous episode, you can always listen to it anytime on any of the podcast platforms that you're familiar with or that you like to listen to podcasts from. So this is a daily version on popular request. So I'm doing this now daily. So as much as I can, might not be every day, but I'll try my best to try and break down stuff for you guys. It's Follow the Money, so it's going to be strictly markets we're going to be talking about here. Equity markets, fixed income markets. Once I see anything interesting, trust me guys, I'm going to spit it out here for you. And now we just go right into it. I also want to try and keep this under 10 minutes, so it's not too long. But what is it on my burner today? It's public offers. There's like strings of public offers out there now, and I'm getting a lot of calls, and like people are telling me, "Go, come on, explain. Should I buy this? Should I buy that?" Look, there's just so many out there, and man, it's pretty difficult to tell you what to buy or what not to buy, because you know how it is. People are just always going to call you and say, "Why did you say don't buy our own stock?" and all that. Anyway, at the end of the day, like, decision is yours, guys. But I'm going to try and just break some things down. And from what I break down, if you're sharp enough, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, basically. All right. So, 3 announcements have been made already. One is ongoing, and that's Fidelity Bank. So we're not going to talk about Fidelity Bank today. Their public offer is out already, and I think it should be in like the 3rd week, or if I'm not mistaken. And then yesterday was Access Bank. Access Bank announced their own public offer yesterday, and so they are selling at 19 naira 75 kobo per share. That's what Access Bank is going to be selling for. So if you're interested in Access Bank shares, 19 naira 75 kobo. Access Bank is raising 351 billion from what we gather. It's a right issue, so it's just for investors that already have Access Bank shares. So if you have Access Bank shares already and you want to take up your right, so you might just want to go in and buy that stock. But what do I think about Access Bank shares? Before I get into my own take on Access Bank, let us see what's even happening in the market at the moment to Access Bank shares. Because, by the way, the fact that stocks are a lot of these guys are having a public offer don't also mean that the stocks are not being traded. This is not the era where when you're trading, when there's an offer and then you can't still trade on that stock. It doesn't happen like that anymore. So you can still trade on stocks even while the public offer is going on. So we did check Access Bank shares earlier on the exchange, on the trading engines, and looked like the share price was lower than what it was than the price than the 17 naira that they're going for. I think we saw it at I think about 19 naira 40 kobo or thereabout per share. So if you think that maybe the current 97 naira per share is too much, then you can as well just buy it on the you can buy it on the floor of the exchange without having to wait for the public offer. So what we're seeing currently, it's at 19 naira 40 kobo per share. Well, it's just a slight dip from the 19 naira 75 kobo, so that the share offer is for. But we've got about 57.2 million shares of Access Bank on offer on the stock market itself. Traders have that much to sell, and you have 5.7 million on bid. So the best offer price that I'm seeing here is 19 naira 40 kobo per share, while the best bid price is 19 naira 35 kobo per share. So looks like the stock might close around around the between 19 naira 35 kobo and 19 naira 40 kobo, except something happens and the market is closing in less than 30 minutes. So that is for Access Bank in the market. But in terms of valuation, so I mean, what do I think about Access Bank share price at the moment? Because if you're going to buy a public offer, what really matters is the valuation, the current share price of the company. Is it really worth that price? I guess that would be the first question that I would ask. And for me, in terms of share price, look, a lot of banks are lowly priced, value wise. So, Access Bank, just to give you a glimmer of what I mean, Access Bank, for example, has a book value per share, or net asset per share of 40, hold on a second, of 70 something naira, or thereabouts. I mean, imagine, at 71 naira per share, because Access Bank net asset is over 2 trillion, to over 2.5 trillion. So, and at 35 billion shares, you're really looking at, over 70 naira per share in terms of net assets. So it's trading at a huge discount, to its net asset value. And if you look at its price to earnings ratio as well, on the price to earnings ratio level, is also trading at slightly below 1 times. And when your stock is at between 1 and 5 times price earnings ratio, it's pretty cheap, because you have stocks that trade at 50, at 30, at 20 something times to earnings. But Access is trading at less than 1 to earnings. So the share price is even lower than, or almost lower than, the earnings per share. That's just incredible. You hardly see things like that. But like I said, Nigerian banks are pretty cheap. And so, that is why I think the share price is quite low. Now, but there are challenges, and where you see challenges as well is that the fact that the share price is this low compared to its earnings would also make you wonder whether this is the right stock to buy, especially when, if you are someone who is interested in value, right? In gunning for, price appreciation, maybe in the short to medium term. By the way, Access Bank, in terms of price appreciation, has returned over 200% in the last 5 years. Most of the returns happened in the last year anyways, but it's sort of more than doubled, because 5 years ago it was trading at maybe six naira or thereabouts. So the fact that we're seeing it at 19 naira now means that it's sort of, the price has increased significantly over the last 5 years. And so that's one challenge that I've already sort of, reported. Now, dividend is probably where you could maybe say, look, maybe this is not the right price for me. So, because dividend per share, Access Bank did 2 naira 10 kobo last year, 2023, combined total dividend paid out, higher than the 1 naira 50 kobo they did in 2022. So their dividend payout ratio, which is the key thing, which is how much of your profits are you giving out as dividend, because Access Bank did 619 billion in profit in 2023, and they paid out 12% of that as dividend. And so just 7 something billion. So that's the challenge here. Two years ago as well, 2022, they paid out 35% of profits as dividend, and in 2011 they paid out 45% of profits as dividend. And so, maybe based on that, you might think it's not enough. But again, if you look at the fact that they paid 2 naira 30 kobo and the share price is 19 naira per share, that is more than 10% dividend yield. And a 10% dividend yield in this stock market, it's pretty solid, if you ask me, especially for banks. And so, based on that, again, it looks like 19 naira 70 kobo per share is another steal. And so, I do expect them to pay higher dividend. So let me just give you an example. If Access Bank does 5 naira 60, if they do another 19 naira per share in earnings per share this year, which I think is very likely, right? And they decide to pay the same kind of dividend payout ratio that they've done over the years. Say they decide to pay 30% of that amount, that earnings per share as dividend, that will come to 5 naira 60 kobo. And if you do 5 naira 60 kobo divided by the current share price, or the offer price of 19 naira, that's 28% dividend yield. So you're going to make it 28% per annum by just keeping that stock. So based on this, look, man, it's difficult to say don't buy the stock. Pretty difficult. Looks like, a solid buy. There are other things that you might want to look at. Like I said, I have reservations with the way the bank's brand expansion is going. The way that they are growing, I kind of think that they're growing too fast for me. And I don't know if a lot of these markets they are getting into, it's probably delivering the right numbers for their shareholders. Looking at their Pan-African business, not really as robust as I would expect. But you can take it away. The share price seems undervalued for me from a retail investor perspective. If you even want to value the stock on his book value alone, is at about 78 naira per share, like I mentioned. That's just incredibly cheap, guys, and that's why it's going to be difficult not to want to go for this stock at the moment. But like I said, it's also why some people will tell you, look, why are Nigerian stocks as cheap? Like when you have a Nigerian stock that is cheap, then you could buy it at 19 naira, and then the share price might just never appreciate beyond that or for a while. And then of course, we would always tell you that bank stocks are so liquid that you might not they can't sustain share price appreciation for too long. Because it's easy for a lot of people to dump them. And like I just said, you can see that there's over 50 million units of the shares currently on sale. So, be that as it may, looks like it's a pretty solid buy for me at the moment, except something changes in the next few days. So if you're thinking of maybe you want to buy Access Bank shares or not, from what I can see here, looks like a good buy for dividends. Yeah. So in terms of share price appreciation, I haven't given it a go yet. But if you're in this for a dividend play and you're looking for a dividend play of 10% or above, in fact, I can confidently say here that I think these guys can give you a dividend play of 15% per year if you own the stock. So that means that if you put 1 million naira in the stock, then you're sure you're going to be getting 150,000 naira in dividend every year. Now, whether that makes sense to you in terms of return is a different thing. I know people like capital appreciation a lot, but that is what I think for Access Bank at the moment. All right, so on part 2 of this podcast, I'm going to be talking about GT Bank or GT Co. I don't know why I like calling them banks because I know banks again. So GT Co. Also had its offer out, and so I'm going to be diving right into GT Co. and then also giving you my own buy, sell, or hold opinion on the stock. This is Follow the Money, brought to you by Nairametrics, where I break down investments in the capital markets and once in a while fixed income market as well. My name is Ugodre, signing out, and we do this every day. So look out for next episode where I will be breaking down GT Bank. Bye.